Welcome to the Golf Spotlight. I'm Ralph Irvin here in our golf shop studio, and today we are talking about the latest from the folks at Adidas, specifically a new addition to the classic Tour 360 line, although this may not be the most classic shoes. We'll see that in just a moment. But to tell us all about it is their senior product manager. He is joining us remotely. It's Sean Katahi. Sean, thanks for joining us once again.
Ralph, thanks for having me. Pleasure to speaking with you as well.
Sean, last year, Adidas introduced the Tour 360 XTSL, the first spikeless Tour 360 model in its history. This year, though, the Tour 360 XTSL 2, some slight alterations, but it's even better, right?
Correct. Yeah, you're right. So we came out with the first Tour 360 spikeless last year, a huge hit, a great success. And then we back it up. We just launched a new version. Tour 360 has always been known for stability, right? From the first one that launched, it was all about giving the consumer and the golfer the most stable and most comfortable platform, being able to play that shoe right out of the box. And over the years, that hasn't changed. Stability is still key when it comes to Tour 360. So as good as the first spikeless edition was last year, we've made improvements, as we always do with future iterations. So when you look at the new one, there's some things that are the same, right? Things that worked really well, we've kept as is, but we knew there was room for improvement. And where we've improved the shoe, when you talked about the outsole still has that X-Traction outsole, which, again, tour-worthy outsole, tour-proven and tested, performs extremely well, gives you traction in every sort of lie possible. Midsole is the same as well, so that full-length boost midsole gives that golfer the optimum in comfort. But one thing that changed is we knew we could make it a little bit more stable. So on that top plate that's right above the boost midsole, we actually have it wrapping up to the upper a little bit more. And like I said, the Tour 360 is all about stability and comfort. So again, we didn't compromise anything from a comfort standpoint, but it just kind of wraps your foot right around that heel counter area where that sidewall comes up a little bit higher. This gives you a little bit better stability.
And you also improve stability in the midfoot area?
Yeah, exactly. So when you work your way into the upper of the shoe, what we've done is, again, we have this little, we have a mission. We want to be the most progressive brand in golf. And that can take on many meanings. But when it comes to products specifically, we're always trying to push the envelope. We don't want to rely on the status quo. And we really, truly feel like we lead from an innovation standpoint. So with that being said, we took an iconic, you could even argue somewhat classic shoe like the Tour 360 now, just how fast footwear is evolving in the golf footwear space. And we've kind of tweaked it. So we made it a little bit more progressive. We've made it a little bit faster, but in doing so, we've added more features and benefits. So the point that you talked about in that midfoot, we've added forging. And what forging does, think of it as like a heat press. So we take that material, we put it through a heat press, and it actually makes it a little bit more rigid and stable without compromising comfort. So when you look at that midfoot area, right below where the free stripes go, you have a forging technology that makes the shoe a little bit more stable. So again, from all aspects of the swing, your foot's a lot more locked in than it was in the previous version, which is, again, what golfers want. They want to be more stable, they want to be more grounded, and they want comfort.
And the beautiful part about the forging is it doesn't add any extra weight from stitching or anything else. It just reinforces the material and makes it stronger.
Exactly. Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, maybe the coolest aspect to the release this fall, though, is that there is a textile upper that has a 1-year waterproof guarantee, and those models look fantastic.
That is, again, I love a lot of our shoes in our range. I know you and I were talking. That's probably my favorite shoe that's come out in a while. And you said, Code Chaos was fantastic. You and I, we both played Code Chaos and love it. But I think just from an aesthetic standpoint, again, the aesthetic of the Tour 360 XTSL textile is phenomenal. And like we said, we try to be a little bit more progressive. We truly feel like we lead from that number 2 position, from market share of number 2 position. But from an innovation standpoint, we truly feel like we're on the forefront. We're seeing more and more textiles, mixed materials, multi-material uppers make their way into golf. Golf is taking innovation from other sports categories, other materials completely outside of our sport. And again, we feel like we're on the forefront of that. The textile version, to your point, has a hydrophobic finish. So again, it repels water. It has a 1-year waterproof, which is kind of rare with textiles. But again, we felt like we led in that position a couple of years ago, and we continue to lead in that position with this waterproof textile version. And again, from an aesthetic standpoint, I don't think there's anything else in golf right now at that tour level platform that really speaks to the golfer like the Tour 360 XTSL textile.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't mention that the other big announcement was the introduction of the Tour 360 XTSL 2 for women, first ever.
Very good point. Again, we definitely value the female consumer. And as you've seen over the last, I'd say probably 2 years, we have a lot of co-gender stories coming out in our footwear. And again, for those best female golfers that want the utmost in performance, to what their male counterparts have maybe had for the last couple of years, we feel like it's extremely important to give them the best in technology and performance. And again, we have, to your point, the first Tour 360 XTSL for women's, and it's phenomenal. Again, early read on that one is it's done really well. Both on the textile and the women's, we're actually we've sold out of one of the colorways on the women's. We're going to get additional stock back in, and then on the men's, the black one sold out really quickly on our .com platform. So again, the consumers, I think it's resonating with the consumers, and I think we're onto something.
Sean, if people want more information about the Tour 360 XTSL 2, the Code Chaos, really anything from Adidas Golf, where do they go?
So the best platform to go to is, if you want any detailed product information, go to adidas.com. And then from there, you can click on golf, and it'll give you all the product detail information. That'll be the best source for all of our new launches.
All right, Sean, thanks for taking the time to join us.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Take care.
I want to thank Sean Katahi for joining us here on the Golf Spotlight. Be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your notifications, and follow us on Twitter @Golf Spotlight, on Instagram @The Golf Spotlight. Follow us on The Range. The link is down below. It's a great podcast if you love golf equipment. And thank you for joining us here on the Golf Spotlight as we continue to give you the information that you need for your next golf purchase.